Woody Allen, A Brief Astrological Portrait by Ciro Discepolo. Woody Allen is certainly another figure who deserves our attention. Many of his jokes are of a Sagittarian nature, heard around and made his own through that powerful instinct for imitation of which I have already written. However, it is not right to do him such an injustice. We listen to many things, even detergent commercials, but we retain in our memory only what most closely matches our perceptual sensitivity, our culture, and our ingenuity. Once a person who was supposed to be cultured, when I used a verb rarely found in common language, said to me, "Big deal. You read it somewhere." And I replied, "Why, do you know a different system for the transmission of culture? And since when is reading a shameful thing?" But let us return to our subject. He teases various jokes, granted, but it is the unique way in which he sews together very different fringes of knowledge and direct personal experiences that makes him a master. The famous line attributed to Groucho Marx or even the great Sigmund Freud, "I would never want to belong to a club that would have someone like me as a member," is certainly a leitmotif of his astral chart and his life. The other little story is not bad either. Two elderly women are in a home for the poor and are complaining about the food. One of them says it's inedible. "It's true," adds the other. "And the worst thing is that the portions are so small. Guys, that's life, pain, anguish, sacrifices. Yet everyone complains because it's too short." Woody Allen thought, is that of a Saturnian. The planet is tight to the descendant and forms a square with the birth conjunction of Sun, Mercury, Jupiter in the fourth case, with strong feelings of inferiority. Could you ever doubt it? Obviously, in the New York author's themes, there is also much self-irony, but isn't his filmography above all a very long anthology of representations, this time in a purely Adlerian key of his inferiority complexes? Here is a very brief summary. In Take the Money and Run, there is always someone, since his childhood, who insults him and then crushes his glasses under their feet. His approaches to women are characterized either by resounding rejections or by improbable exaltations of his beauty. Again, in Annie Hall, he asks the girl who is sending him on stage, "Tell me something encouraging." "You're very handsome. I'd say that's a good one." Or in another film, when he tries to impress a woman at the Museum of Modern Art by leaning into a pitiful critical artistic comment on an exhibited work, he receives in response a laconic, "Shut up, you gargoyle." And what can be said about his constant reference to his Jewish condition, read in an absolutely paranoiac light? The feelings of inferiority in Allen are dominant and very marked, cutting across his entire body of work, from his early screenplays to his latest films. Neptune, in the first case at a sesquiquadrate to Uranus, did not help him on this front. Venus, in the second case, explains not only the economic success of his career, but also the specific medium that made him famous, the film, the frame. And Mars, in the fifth case, redundantly highlights his interest in the world of show business. The Cancer values, Sun and Stellium in the fourth case, would deserve a separate discussion, but the purpose of this brief anthology of portraits of well-known figures, or otherwise, is only to indicate fundamental directions in the interpretation of a birth chart, and not to be exhaustive in the analytical understanding of a biography under the lens of all its planets and the nearly infinite nuances they suggest. Excerpted from the book L'interpretazione del tema natale by Ciro Discepolo.